All right, I'm going to go through some examples from this page with you. It says, estimate, circle all the problems with differences between 30,000 and 60,000. Then find the differences of only the circled problems. So what it's asking you to do is just go through this whole page, 1 through 15, and estimate each of these problems like I'm about to show you how. And if it is between 30,000 and 60,000, circle it. Then you're going to go back to all of your circled problems and you're going to actually find the exact difference by subtracting like we usually would. Alright, so I will show you a few examples. So for number 1, I'm going to write it on a different sheet of paper just so I have more room. 95,217 minus 39,871. Alright, and to estimate, that just means I have to round. So 30,000 and 60,000, these numbers are rounded to the nearest 10,000. The 3 is in the 10,000s place, and the 6 is in the 10,000s place. So I'm going to do the same thing to my numbers in number 1. So in the 10,000s place, I have a 9. And I'm going to look when I round at the number to the right of it, which is a 5. And remember that 5 or more tells me to round up, and anything below 5, I would keep this number the same. So because this is a 5, I have to round my 9 up. So 1 after 9 would be 10. And then I still have to add 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros behind 10, because every number behind 9 is just going to turn into a 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this number rounded to the nearest 10,000 would be 100,000. Alright, now I'm going to round this number. So I have a 3 in the 10,000s place. And again, I look at the number to the right of it, and I have a 9. So this is above 5. So I'm going to round my 3 up to a 4. And then everything behind it will change to a 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. Okay, and then I'm just going to subtract. And the point of estimating would be so that I can do it in my head. So if I cover up these zeros, I can do 10 minus 4 in my head, which is 6. And then all I have to do is add the zeros back. So when I estimate this problem, I get 60,000 because 100,000 minus 40,000 equals 60,000. So the directions, again, they said to circle the problems with differences between 30,000 and 60,000. So because when I estimated I got 60,000, I have to circle it because it is between these two numbers. Okay? Now, I'm going to look at number 16. It says, use estimation in addition to check one of your answers. I'm going to show you how you can do that with number 1. Alright, so to check my answer when I subtract, you know that what you get down here, right, or what I get right here, I should be able to add to this to get this, the number that I start with. Okay, so all I'm doing is seeing if 60,000, the answer I got, plus 40,000, does it equal 100,000? Yes, it does. Okay, and then if I actually do find the difference of the circled problem, so I'm going to go ahead and find the difference of this, I can check my answer that way too. So 7 minus 1 is 6. I cannot do 1 minus 7, so I have to change my 2 to a 1, and change my 1 to an 11. 11 minus 7 is 4. And then I cannot do 1 minus 8, so again I have to borrow. That will become an 11. 11 minus 8 is 3. And then I had a 4 minus 9, which I can't do, so my 9 will become an 8, and the 4 will become a 14. 14 minus 9 is 5, and 8 minus 3 is 5. Okay, so my actual difference is 55,346. So if I estimate and add to check my answer, again, this would round up to 60,000. this would round up to 40,000. So 40,000, 60,000. I can add these two, my answer and what I subtracted, to see if that gets me to this total. So it was 95,217, which we said rounded to 100,000. So when I add those two, it does get me to 100,000. So if my answer down here was like, maybe I made a mistake when I subtracted and I got 505,000. When I added, I would be able to find that I made a mistake because it wouldn't be a reasonable answer. So all it's asking you to do is just go back and check your work by estimating to make sure your answer was reasonable. All right, so I'll do one more. Let's do number 2. 62,554 minus 31,618. All right, and I'm going to round these again because I have to estimate. So underline the digit in the 10,000ths place, which is a 6. The 2 tells me to keep it the same. So it will be 6 and then 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. All right, I'm going to underline the 3 and the 1 tells me to keep it the same. So 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros behind my 3. And then again, I can do this in my head because 6 minus 3 is 3. And then I add my zeros back. So 30,000 would be the answer I get when I estimate, which is between 30,000 and 60,000. So I'm going to circle it. And if it's circled, that means I have to find the exact difference. So I cannot do 4 minus 8. I have to borrow. 14 minus 8 would be 6. 4 minus 1 would be 3. I cannot do 5 minus 6, so I'm going to borrow. 15 minus 6 would be 9. Then I've got 1 minus 1, which is 0, and 6 minus 3, which is 30. All right, and then I'm going to go down to this problem again. And I don't have to do this for every problem. It just says for one of your answers, but I just want to show you how you would do it. All right, so again, I'm going to check my answer. I know that this plus this equals this if I did it right. So I'm just going to estimate. You don't have to go back and actually add these. Estimating is just a quick way. So 30,936 rounded to the nearest 10,000 would be 30,000. 31,000 rounded to the nearest 10,000 would be 30,000. So I'm saying that these two should add together to give me whatever this rounds to, which was 62,000, and that would round to 60,000 to the nearest 10,000. And 30,000 plus 30,000 is 60,000. Okay, so again, if I checked my work, I would see that my answer was correct. This is a reasonable answer. All right, and then I'm just going to show you real quick. 92,000, so number 3. $92,023 minus 71,578. If I round these to the nearest 10,000, this would stay 90,000. The 1 tells me to keep the 7 the same, so 70,000. And then when I subtract, 9 minus 7 is 2. Then I add my zeros back, that would make it 20,000. This is not in between 30,000 and 60,000, so I don't circle this one. I could write 20,000 under it or beside it, and then that's all I have to do. I don't have to find the actual difference. I would only do that for the problems that I circled.